What's up, guys? So you're about to watch part 2 of my interview with David Pickard. It's really good. You're going to love the rest of this shit. We talk about great stuff. Right from the get, though, I want to remind you that the video is a little laggy. All right, I apologize, but the audio is on point, so you don't even need to watch the video portion. Just throw your headphones in and listen to it, all right? Aside from that, I want to apologize for the length, okay, because it's pretty long, but hey, me and Pick go way back, so when we get to talking about shit, you know, it gets dragged out. Aside from that, if you look in the upper left-hand corner here, there's a little exclamation point, all right? Click on that so you can go pick up the veteran artist design for the month of May. It's inspired by Ernesto Rodriguez, who just completed 2,200-mile ruck march from Tennessee to California, all right, for veteran suicide, so bring awareness to it. So check it out, snag it up, and 50% of that goes straight to the artist. So support the channel, support veterans, and let's give back. All right, let's give back to our community. Enjoy. Welcome everybody to part 2 of this episode of Carry On with David Pickard. Last time we talked about his deployments, his transition, into being a state police officer for the state of New Jersey. Which actually, bro, I learned a few things about Jersey yesterday that I never knew before. Like, you guys are I think the second or third largest producer of berries in the country. Like cranberries, strawberries, blueberries. A third of the nation's provider is fucking New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually very interesting. I don't know why the fuck I buy all my berries from Mexico then.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, like, where the fuck are the berries going from Jersey? And then I also learned that Jersey has the highest population density in the country.
That is a fact. I know that for a fact.
Which is odd because you guys are the Garden State, but you have the highest population density.
Yeah. So where I work is where all the farms are, but I live in the city-ish area.
Okay.
So even just yesterday, April and I were talking about it. Where did we go? That we were talking about this? Where did we take? Oh yeah, we tried to go to a carnival last night, and it's just driving. It was like a rainy Saturday evening, and it was like I was pulling my hair out because of the amount of traffic that we were just fighting through. And we were talking about it, like, you know, it used to never be like that. But now, like, our population is just
exploded.
And, you know, I live outside of New York City. So the population is exploding, and just going anywhere is a hassle around here.
See, I like Sahar, you know, we're talking about moving to California outside of LA in the next couple of years. And, like, I don't know if you've been to fucking LA, man, or anywhere near LA. But the traffic is like, oh my god, dude. Every time I've been there, I've just been like, oh, fuck my life. Like, I could never live here. And then now we're fucking talking about moving there. You know, it drives me nuts. But
that's like it here, man. It's just out of control.
Too many people.
You know, where I work is usually where people live and they commute to the city.
Ah, okay.
Like I'm always going the opposite way of traffic. You know, when everyone's commuting to the city in the morning, I'm going to you know, I work right on the border of New Jersey. So you see all the people from Pennsylvania and out in western New Jersey commuting to the city.
So what's the population out like? I don't know what Jersey's version of a fucking redneck would be, but I assume that out where you're working, you're seeing a lot of the the winners of society out there.
Yeah, So you know what, you would never think it, but New Jersey has we have our rednecks, just like you would just like you would think.
It's crazy.
The guys with like 4 teeth in their mouth. Big Shaw, red men in.
Oh my gosh.
Driving around on their tractors and shit. Yeah.
So is that what they call the Pine Barrows? Is that the fucking area?
The Pine Barrens. That's down South Jersey.
Okay, so that's farther south.
Yeah. Because it's weird. There's like a certain point in New Jersey where it just turns to, like North Carolina, how it's like sandy and pine trees.
Oh, God.
There's like a certain point on like the border of New Jersey where it just turns to like that. But then once you go north of that, it's all like, oak trees and maple trees.
And Italians.
Yeah,
and Italians everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
For being such a small state, it's very extremely diverse.
Oh, and actually, fun fact too, there is the highest concentration of people who have PhDs in the country is in New Jersey.
Wow.
Crazy. I know. Like Jersey's famous for like Jersey Shore and shit nowadays, but in actuality, you got the highest concentration of people with PhDs. It's fucking nuts.
Very interesting. Even I didn't know that.
Yeah, man.
These facts.
Yeah, bro. It blew my mind. I just happened to be watching Neil deGrasse Tyson, that astrophysicist, and he was talking to one of the New Jersey senators, and the New Jersey senator was just blasting him with like, "Yo, these facts. Check this out." And I was just like, "Holy shit! I never knew that." All right. So enough about Jersey. Let's get back to you, man. So you're doing the trooper, you're doing the state police thing now, and so what are your plans for the future, man? Are you gonna rock the badge, rock the shield for the end of your days, or what's your plans?
Yeah, there's you can never tell what the future is gonna hold, but I just, besides being a trooper, I also just started a business, and that business is focusing on. I focus mainly on Amazon, but I'm looking to expand into different markets like Shopify and Walmart.com. But it's all online retail sales.
Okay.
I know it sounds kind of scammy, but
no. So are you doing more the B2C? So you're kind of the middleman from business to consumer. You kind of moving wholesale to retail.
Right now, yes, I am. But there's so many different routes you can take. I have a buddy who's in my National Guard unit. His company is called High Speed Daddy.
High Speed Daddy.
High Speed Daddy. He makes a tactical diaper bag.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that before. That's fucking awesome.
Yep. Yeah. So he actually uses Amazon as his sales platform. So he's got his own private label brand on Amazon, where he sells his tactical diaper bags. So I mean, you can use Amazon as a sales platform for many different sales potentials, like wholesale. You can do retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. You can do your own private label brand.
So for the would-be entrepreneurs that are watching, so how does that work? Do you does Amazon set you up with the connections to the suppliers, or do you have to fucking knock on doors yourself? Like, do you have to go to these? You gotta, I guess, look up the toll-free number and call up, whatever company's distribution and say like, "Hey, man, I'm trying to sell your shit on Amazon."
Exactly. Yeah, Amazon just offers you a channel where you can sell products.
Okay.
You got to do the work. But you know what? It's a lot of work, but it could be very rewarding. I just actually had a coaching call with somebody the other day. It was Friday night. Friday night I had a coaching call, and they're doing 20 grand a month on Amazon right now.
Jesus. So wait, coaching as in like they're coaching you or
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they were coaching me. I asked this person, if they would do a coaching call with me, and so we did a coaching call, and I obviously pay them for their services, but she's doing $20,000 a month on Amazon.
Jesus.
And that's average. 15 to 20,000 is what the average is, and she did for quarter 4, which is October to December.
Yeah.
30,000.
Jesus.
So, and that's there's people doing $1 million a month on Amazon. So
Yeah.
there's really no limit. There's no limit.
So are you looking at that? So are you looking at entrepreneurship in this route through Amazon? Is that kind of like your next stepping stone into the future? Like, is that kind of what you're going to start putting your chips into, or?
I would definitely like to be my own boss.
I
I
mean,
would definitely like to be my own boss.
who wouldn't be? Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I'm busy, man. I got a lot of stuff going on. I do enjoy being a police officer. I really do. But it doesn't afford you with the flexibility
Yeah.
that being your own boss would afford you.
My old man was a cop, and I remember, I mean, there were years where we were just sucking, because he was working all the fucking time, and then, my mom and my dad were still struggling to pay bills, and, it was kind of just, they weren't living, they weren't working to live anymore. They were living to work,
Yeah.
and that sucks, man. I'm like, that's awesome though, that you're looking ahead, trying to find that avenue to get out of that kind of rotation and shit before it sucks you in too deep.
And that was, that all kind of happened. That all kind of spurred out of like the pain that I was feeling when I first got out of the Army. When I first got off active duty, I was just, broke. I was broke. I was living at my parents' or my in-laws' house. We were living in, myself, April, and, the baby. We were all living in a small bedroom. And we had to pack all our shit in there. And, the three of us, plus my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, we shared one bathroom. We had to share all the food. And then plus we had, 4 or 5, we had 5 dogs together. We had their 2 dogs and my 3 dogs, and it was just a pain in the ass. And I was like, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
And I kind of stumbled upon, entrepreneurship. And I didn't really start taking action on anything until, recently. But I just spent like the last couple of years just learning about so much stuff that's out there. And then I stumbled onto using Amazon as a way to sell products. So that's when I started going into that. And I actually just had, I'm very, very new at it. I started in January, so I've really only been doing it for, mid-January, so I've really only been doing it for about 3 months right now.
Yeah.
I had my best sales week like 2 weeks ago. I made $1,000 that week.
No shit.
So yeah, I had $1,000 week.
Which is nothing to scoff at, man. I mean, that's money, that's extra money, dude. If I was making an extra $1,000 a week, my wife, she'd be fucking happy. Shit.
Right? So, I mean, I just, I didn't touch any of that money. All that money's going right back into more inventory and, more product. Just keep doubling it, hopefully.
See, that's I'm not an entrepreneur yet by any means personally, but one of the things I've learned is the whole, when you're first starting out, reinvesting back into the business, like dudes like Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you fucking know him, Gary V.
I do.
Yeah, Gary V, man.
I watch his videos.
Yeah,
Yes.
dude, good shit to watch, man. I like him just because he's an asshole like me, fucking, you know. And but I love how he always preaches like, you know, the first several years, you know, you don't take shit from the business. You put it all back in, you know.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I like that. Fucking maybe if this channel starts making money, maybe I'll be able to put it back in. Right now, right now I'm still taking out of my own fucking money, and Sahar's been beating the shit out of me for it. So,
That's all right. That's all right.
yeah. She's not an Italian wife, but she's Filipino. She's got that Pacquiao blood in her. I don't know, man. She punches hard as fuck. Okay, so you're doing that route, man. You're doing the entrepreneurship, which is I think is a very undertapped like potential for veterans. I know everybody wants to be a fucking entrepreneur now and all that crap, but I think veterans, I think we have a leg up, you know, because the Army, whether it intended to or not, really instills, it gives you that tool bag of fucking ability to you know, lead and prioritize work and you know, distribute labor and shit. And I think a lot of veterans could do really fucking well if they went into business for themselves.
Yeah, we have a very unique skill set.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I don't care if you were, you know, an infantryman or, you know, if you were a finance person, you know,
a desk jockey.
HR, you know, HR in the Army, human resources. But, you know, you still, like, it doesn't matter. You got a unique skill set.
Yeah.
You know, you went through that basic training. You know, you learned that discipline. I remember when I was ACAP and you know, in early or late 2013. I remember there was I don't know, an E3 or an E4 there who was, I don't know if he was getting kicked out or, I guess it doesn't really matter. But I remember we were going through our resume writing class, and he was like, he was an 11 Charlie, so he's a mortarman. He's like, I don't have any skills. He's like, I have nothing to offer. He's like, you know, I'm an E4 or E3 in the Army. He's like, what, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, he was just lost. Like, he was lost in life. And, you know, that's not true, man. Like, that's just not true. Like, we have a unique skill set that we can apply to a lot of different things.
I mean,
You
just
know,
the
civilian world.
yeah, the discipline, the time management, I mean, there's so many fucking skills in it. I mean, teamwork, fucking interpersonal, fucking communication skills and shit. I mean, that's huge. You know, there's so many fucking douchebags running around in the civilian world that are have no inkling of those fucking skills, and even the common Joe, fucking, he knows, like, all right, you know, if I'm gonna do something, I gotta do it right, you know, and I need to manage my fucking time because I gotta meet my time hacks, you know, all this shit, you know, basic stuff that these fucking teenagers coming out of high school, they don't know jack shit about.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fucking, well, man, that is legit awesome, and I'm gonna keep an eye on you, man. I'm like, I really want to see how you progress with this Amazon thing, man, because it's definitely I think the biggest reason why I wanted to start doing these interviews is because I want to highlight guys that, you know, got out and are fucking killing it, man. You know, they're actually progressing and still moving towards a fucking, you know, a goal to a better future. You know, I'm gonna keep a fucking eye on you, man.
You know, I feel like that's an issue, you know, with a lot of guys getting out. You know, they have no purpose, direction, and motivation. You know, that, right? What's that? That's the definition of Army leadership. You know, you provide purpose, direction, and motivation.
Yeah.
And these guys are getting out and they don't have that. They don't have that purpose. They don't have a direction. They don't have motivation. You know, and they kind of, you know, guys are just left by the wayside now, and, you know, no one's there to guide them. You know, they had that sergeant over them, you know, tell them, this is what you're doing, right time, right place, right uniform. and they had that, but now they don't. And, guys are getting lost. And I think that's a big problem now.
Yeah, man.
But like I said, man, these guys don't realize the potential that we have as veterans.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even realize it when I first got out. I was lost. But I use my law enforcement job, to pay my bills, and want to be an entrepreneur, to pave my lifestyle that I want.
Yeah, man. I love that, man. I love that, man. You're still fucking grinding. Okay, so let's transition from that to we're gonna get a little shitty, the shitty aspects of the military. So let's start off with your most memorable bad experience in the Army, and I already know where you're going with it, and I definitely want to spend a few minutes talking about that. But what was your most memorable bad experience in the Army?
Most memorable bad experience. Yeah, we talked about this at one time.
Mm-hmm.
My most memorable bad experience in the Army was two things, and it's the month of April here. We're in it. We're balls deep in the month of April. But I lost two soldiers in the month of April. The first one was April 28th, 2012. That was Christian San Nicolas, and that was during deployment. And the second one was Blake Haggard. It was April 10th, 2014. And that was as a result of many things, including deployment and medications he was taking, but he committed suicide. He took his own life. And, those two things, those two losses of, at both at one time were my soldiers. And Blake was actually a team leader for me when I was a squad leader back in the States. So those two combined together, that was my worst memory that I have from the Army.
So so let's start with San Nicolas. What you said it was 2012, right?
Yep.
So
2012.
what
28, 2012.
What happened there?
So this was our first major operation in country as a brigade. So the entire brigade was going to conduct a clearance simultaneously of our AOs. So it was we started, this has been planning since the very, beginning of deployment. So essentially what happened was we were getting ready to SP from the FOB, and, the whole platoon was loaded up in vehicles that were provided by Delta Company, and they were just going to truck us out to our starting point, and we were just going to, walk the rest of the way. I think, it was around 10:30 p.m. that the whole event happened, and we SP'd at like 10 p.m. We made it 3 kilometers outside of the FOB and 30 minutes into the, into the mission. Yeah, some around that. I don't know if it took us, 30 minutes to move 3 kilometers or whatever, but we weren't far, and it wasn't very long into it. And the second truck, it was command wire. It was command wire IED that the truck hit. I forget how much I estimated the bomb to be, but I know it was at least 5 digits. was like maybe 18,000 pounds or 10,000 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
Homemade explosive packed underneath the culvert. And once they hit the command wire, it exploded under the back of the truck and took a full-size Max Pro and flipped it 1.5 times end over end. And it landed on the top side. And, everyone, there was 5 guys in the vehicle, my platoon sergeant, my medic, a team leader, St. Nicholas, and there was another guy named Chris Brady. So St. Nicholas was killed as a result of that blast. And my medic almost lost his life. And my medic now has, Andrew Putman, he now has like bad memory problems, and he has to still walk with a cane.
So severe TBI.
Yeah, severe. My platoon sergeant, he broke his back. He got his back broken.
Jesus.
And the 2 guys up in front, the driver and the TC, they were pretty bad as well. Nobody came back. I mean, Chris Brady, he was a driver. He came back for like a couple weeks, and he just couldn't. He was so stiff, and he couldn't move, and his body was just not doing good. So he got sent back to the States. The whole back of the truck was compressed. Like the ramp from the Max Pro got thrown off the truck, and the whole back was compressed.
Jesus Christ.
But that night altogether, yeah. So like I said, the mission, we SP'd, I think, out of the FOB at like 10 p.m. And that happened at like, 10:30, 10:45. And it took us till, 06 the next morning to just clean up and get everything, loaded up on the wreckers and get replacements for them to be able to, continue mission.
Yeah.
But, so I just want to talk about it a little bit first. So
Yeah,
I remember I was sitting, I must have been like four vehicles back, or like 3 vehicles back from that truck that got hit. And I remember, I was kind of falling asleep in the back of the truck. We were just cruising down the road. It was a paved road, one of the paved roads I've ever seen in Afghanistan.
There's only a couple.
Yeah, there's only a few. And I remember just hearing the blast, feeling the blast, and I just remember seeing like the entire outside light up, just orange, like everything just lit up. And I was like, what just happened? Who's hit? What's going on? And I had my platoon RTO next to me, and he was like, he's like, I don't know yet. Once I find out, I'll let you know. And he started getting chatter on the radio. I think it's an A&A vehicle. Oh, an A&A vehicle? All right. Well, no big deal. Hopefully they're all right, but let's scoop this up and let's continue mission here. And as far as I knew, it was just, an A&A truck that got hit. And then, out of nowhere, they just dropped the back ramp, and they said, the TC that was in my truck, he was like, hey, get out there, grab that litter, and get up there. They need another litter. Okay. No information, no nothing. So we just grabbed the litter, ran up there, and then I saw one of our Max Pros. And I was like, that was no fucking A&A truck.
Yeah.
This is our truck. And I saw it, and I was like, that does not look good. I got up there, and I saw my platoon sergeant and the medic. They were both on litters. And I remember seeing my platoon sergeant. He was like groaning in pain, and my medic, Potman, he wasn't he wasn't even moving or making any noise. And then I walked up and I saw Chris Brady, and his face was just so puffy from
Just all the swelling.
smacked into the steering wheel, yeah, from swelling, and smacked into the steering wheel, and it was just covered in blood. And he's like, hey, how do I look? I'm like, you look good, man.
He looked great, bro.
I was like, it looks like you're wearing a Halloween mask. No big deal. So there's only a few of us up there. You know, the company medic was up there, and just a handful of other people. I don't think, you know, I think everyone was still just tracking like it was an A&A truck. So nobody was really, you know, nobody was really shaking tail to get up there. So, you know, we get my platoon medic loaded up into a Max Pro. You know, I help carry the litter in there, and they call for medevac birds. You know, so we're waiting on the birds to come in, and we didn't have enough room in other trucks to load up the litter with my platoon sergeant. So once the birds show up, you know, however long later, you know, an hour, 45 minutes, like, all right, we gotta load them up on a bird. And like I said, you know, there's not that many people out there. Like, people are still just hanging out in trucks, and you know, I keep telling, I'm like, yo, we need more guys out here. We need more guys out here. And everybody's like, okay, yeah. It was pretty much like falling on deaf ears. So like, fuck it, you know, we need to get these guys to the bird. Let's go. So there's 4 of us on you know, the one litter, and this is probably one of the most physically demanding things I've ever experienced in my life in like one shot. I had to carry this litter. We had to carry this litter like 300 meters to where the birds landed. And you know how it is in Afghanistan.
Yeah, the fucking moon dust and shit, yeah.
Yeah. So fully loaded with combat equipment. I had my, you know, 85-pound solid animal platoon sergeant on this litter with, you know, his gear on. And then, you know, I had the litter in one hand, and you know, Chris Brady's fucking sleeve in the other hand. I'm like, yo, you just got to run and follow me.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. And he's, you know, he's all messed up. He can barely even walk straight. His equilibrium's all off. So, you know, we're just trying to book it down Highway 1 to get to these birds, you know, before we start getting lit up. We're getting down, like, you know, I let go of Brady, just readjust my grip, and he starts veering off. I'm like, whoa, come back, bro.
just wandering up.
Run this way, man. You know, and he's going all over the place. And I remember finally just getting to the bird, and I was in the back, and the front 2 guys put the front of the litter up on the bird, and I remember just trying to shove the litter into the back of the bird, or on the side of the bird, and like expending like every ounce of strength I have left, like pushing the litter into the bird. And once I got it in, I just turned around. My legs were like jello. I could barely fucking move. And I started like wobbling. I started like wobbling off, and the company medic had to grab me. And he was like, yo, you're about to run into the rotors. You got to take a knee. Like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah. I mean, because at that point, you're fucking. Not only are you just physically fucking done, man, you're emotionally and mentally fucking done too by that point.
I was done all around. Just done all around. And that was it, man. That was just the beginning of the mission. You know, we still had fucking like eight clicks we had to walk in a few hours. And, you know, we went back. And I remember the flight medic came up to me, and he's like, you know, what you count? And I was like, 2 litter and 3 ambulatory. And he was like, 3 ambulatory. And I was like, not that I know of. I was like, what do you mean? And then I remember Billman, he had no kit on, just covered in blood, pushed me out of the way. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck did you just say? So I had to grab Billman because I didn't even know he was KA. I thought they just had him loaded up and they were working on him in one of the trucks. And, I grabbed him, and then like the company medic came running up, and he pushed us away, and he was talking to the flight medic. And he's like, no, fuck that guy. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, who's KIA? And, so that's the first I heard of it. And that's like kind of how I found out. And, I had to hold Billman back from, from fist fighting this flight medic. And then, once we got them, they all got loaded up onto the birds. I went back over, and we had to clear all the sensitive items out of the truck. And, I just remember me and one of the squad leaders, we were crawling in the truck, grabbing the dagger out, grabbing the 50 cal, people's nods and shit that was still sitting in there. And I just remember smelling like all the fluids and like, the explosive and the gunpowder and everything that was all mixed together. It was like that smell, the smell that it made, I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. Just like all the everything mixed together is like I was gagging.
Yeah, it's such a unique fucking smell, man. That stays with you forever.
Yeah, and and this is when everyone started, like people started coming out now. Like, we had like a squad and a half up there now and pulling security. And the A&A guys were out looking for the command wire, and they found it. And they traced the command wire down to like behind a Kalat wall. And they come back and told us, like, don't go over there, it's all mined up. They're like, there's mines everywhere down there. So they planned on this. They knew it.
Yeah, they knew you'd come looking.
Yeah, and later on we kind of found out that someone was watching us the whole time. Like our fob was on road front on Highway 1, and then across the street in the bazaar, like there was 2-story buildings, and they could see from the windows up there. They could see into our fob. So they knew it the whole time. They knew when we left. They knew we were getting ready for a mission. They knew everything. So that was, and the worst part about it was route clearance had just cleared the road, earlier that day and the day before, and they found nothing. So these guys knew. They knew they were waiting for us the whole time.
Fucking, on the ingenuity and the actual combat intelligence that the Taliban and those dudes have, will never cease to amaze me. I'll never underestimate them. Guys back home, they think like, oh, they're just a bunch of dumb heathens that live in the rocks and dirt and stuff, and they can't read and write. Like, well, yeah, they can't read and write, but they do a pretty good job at fucking killing people.
Yeah. And, like I said, that didn't change anything. We still had to continue mission. Yeah. It took till like 06, 07 the next morning to clean up and get replacements. But, we had the Charlie Mike. And then, it was a 3-day, it was a full 72-hour mission. And throughout the course of that, we got into a couple fights, and we actually uncovered, I think my platoon uncovered the most HME throughout the entire battalion. We recovered like 3,000 pounds.
God damn.
Yeah. And I think as a brigade, we recovered like 12,000. 12,000 pounds of HME. And then, we pressure plates, mines, we found, we were just pulling all that shit out. But yeah, like I said, my platoon, you know, we recovered 3,000 pounds.
That's fucking
Out of
nuts.
someone's house.
God damn.
You know, so
So now I know that that incident, you know, that played a lot into what happened with Taggart later on, right?
yeah. Yeah. So Haggard and St. Nicholas were the best of friends. You know, they were good buds. And then so June 20th, June 20th, 2012. You know, Haggard got hit by an IED himself. You know, and they were in one of those new MATVs.
Yeah.
And so what happened? We had just gotten to fight, and you know, Haggard was already out of the truck. Oh, let me back up a little bit. So we'd actually went out for QRF to go assist third platoon because they had already hit 2 IEDs in this area. So we went out there to go help, you know, with the recovery of the vehicles. And then while we were out there, you know, we got into a firefight, and you know, Haggard was out of the vehicle. We get into a little gunfight, and then Haggard and his vehicle crew, they go running back to the vehicle and they hop in. And we were just trying to move on these guys. And so they didn't buckle their seatbelts or anything. They just jumped in and off they went. You know, and boom, they hit one. And Haggard got it thrown out of the vehicle.
Like straight up ejected.
Yep, he got ejected. His door got blown open, and he just got thrown out. And you know, and again, you know, I fucking ran up there. I was one truck behind them, so I watched the whole thing. And as you know, as soon as they hit, I was like, yo, drop the ramp. I dropped the ramp, and like me and like 3 other dudes went running up there. And I remember seeing my squad leader just standing out there, and he's like Haggard's dead. I think Haggard's dead. He's like, he's not breathing. And I looked down, and he's underneath the vehicle. He's like underneath in the fucking blast hole. And you know, we didn't move him. We waited for the medics to get up there, so you know, just in case he had a fucking broken neck or broken spine or anything, I didn't want to, you know, drag him out and, you know, ruin anything if he was still good. But he was starting to move and stuff. But you know, after that, him and my squad leader, they went up to Bagram for a couple weeks to recover, and they came back, and you know, they were good, but they weren't good, you know.
Yeah.
So once we got back to the States, I remember Haggard was an amateur MMA fighter before the military. You know, he'd actually done matches and stuff, you know, amateur fights. So once we got back, we put him in for the Fort Bragg Combatives tournament.
Okay.
And one match, he was just going at it, and you know, something just happened to his back, and that was it. Like, he was done. So then he started going to the doctor, and they're like, your back's messed up. They're like, you know, what happened? And he's like, well, I got tossed out of a vehicle in an IED. And they're like, oh yeah, that's definitely what happened. That definitely did it. So since that day, you know, since he was like out of commission and, you know, he couldn't do anything, and that was it. Like, they're like, yeah, you know, you got to go to the medical unit. You know, you're not fit for the line anymore. He just started going downhill, and you know, they just started putting him on tons of different medication, and then he started going in and out of like inpatient, you know, psychiatric wing and shit. and he was just losing it. And they'd change his dose on one medication and then put him on a new one and take him off one, and they were just doing this so fast,
just
no
constantly.
time to adjust to anything.
Hey, time out real quick. It's about to end the recording. All right, so they were changing out all of his meds, like back to back and shit. Like,
Yeah, they were just, it was just like no rhyme or reason, like from what he was telling me and like what I gathered from the situation. Like I remember bringing him over to the medical unit, and they were like, oh, we need his leadership to bring him over there and do some paperwork. So I was over there with him. It's like, well, I don't know what you guys are doing to him, but he's not doing good. So, and I believe that, due to the medication he was on and just everything that he was going through, I think he just, had a bad moment and made a bad choice.
Yeah.
And then, he took his own life. He was just newly married. And that was actually about a month after I left Fort Bragg. And I said, I left Fort Bragg and I was like, I'm never going back to this fucking dump ever again. And then, a month later, I was back down there for a funeral, another funeral.
As I remember, I was down there at the time in North Carolina, and I remember seeing you. And fuck, man.
Yeah, that was the time, we came and stayed at your parents' house up there in Raleigh.
Yeah, man. So fucking.
I wish I was down there on better circumstances, but unfortunately not.
It's unfortunate that dudes like Haggard and guys like Little Feather and dudes like that, like somewhere along the line, they were failed by somebody, or something, and I really feel like the Army has a lot of work to do, to combat this issue, and I think we do as well as fellow veterans and stuff, that's like why I want to do that thing yesterday with buddy checking everybody, and I mean, we can sit here and pontificate and think about like, oh, well, what if this and what if that and what if this, but we're really never gonna have any idea of what the fuck was going through their minds at the time,
I carry around a lot of guilt, with Haggard especially. I don't know. I just feel like
well, he was your fucking soldier, man. Like, of course.
He was my soldier, and then not only was he my soldier, but I made him one of my team leaders. Yeah. Like I groomed him, as a saw gunner, and then rifleman, and then a team leader, under me. And I actually just, I think about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, yeah, I saw one of my other saw gunners and another soldier of mine. He was in Delaware for work. He lives in Missouri now, but we were deployed together in 2012, and him, Haggard, and I, we were all the best of buds on deployment, and we met up down in South Jersey there. He drove from Delaware and I drove from up in North Jersey, and we met. We had lunch and we talked about the good old times.
Yeah.
And we talked about Haggard. Haggard was a big topic of our conversation. Like I always wonder if there was something I could have done better, or I could have helped out with. What could I have done better?
And it sucks, man, because it's I don't think there's anything that we can do to even answer those questions, because it's like you know, unfortunately, like, God, like, you know, you can never know what the fuck they were thinking at the time, you know, what they did. And, you know, I don't know. I truly believe that, you know, us reaching out to each other and being better to each other and checking on each other more is a huge, you know, it's not, by no means is it a solution, but I think maybe it'll help.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the best we can do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, man.
making sure we're all right.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm gonna segue from that to trying to, you know, wrap this up a little bit. I know that's a hard topic to follow, you know, because fucking that's rough, man. I don't know, man. That's I'm fortunate enough that I you know, I haven't had to deal with one of my former soldiers, you know, or any of my soldiers fucking, you know, taking that long trip. But I don't envy you, and you know, my heart goes out to you, brother.
Thanks, Pum. I appreciate it. You know, it's a tough experience, man.
I don't doubt it, man. Well, kind of wrapping this up, and this goes back to, you know, getting out of the Army and you know, living with the experiences that you have and dealing with the issues that you got. What piece of advice do you wish somebody had given you when you were getting out of the Army? So, like, if you could go back in time and talk to yourself, you know, when you get that DD-214, you know, what the fuck would you tell yourself?
The best piece of paper the Army has.
I know, right? the only one that matters.
The only one that matters. The piece of advice I would definitely give myself transitioning off of active duty is, man, it's like a catch-all. It's like METTC, but
Yeah.
but you need a plan, man. You need a plan. Like, I know we all do it. We all do it because I did it. I was like, fuck it. I got my DD-214. I don't care what happens, where it happens, when it happens. If I got it, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah.
But you need a plan.
Yeah.
Like, you need that plan. You know, like I said earlier, you know, I went to ALC and I went to selection, and, you know, at the time I was like, that's it. I'm going to retire out of the Army. I'm going to retire out of group. You know, I'm going to be a Green Beret. And then, you know, my wife was pregnant during selection, and, you know, I was like, had that change of heart, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't think the Army's for me anymore. And like 6 months later, I was out.
Yeah.
You know, so I had no plan as far as like, you know, what am I going to do with my house that I own in North Carolina? All these bills that I have, how am I going to pay them? You know, once my paycheck runs out after my terminal leave's over, finding a job before you even get out.
Yeah, man.
You know, those are things that you need to plan for.
Yeah. I think dudes get so wrapped up in the idea of like that glimmer of light, you know, that hope of freedom, you know, they're just like, fuck it, I don't care what happens. Anything is better than what I got going on right now.
Yeah. That's exactly, you know, that's where, you know, we're all there. We've all been there.
Yeah, man.
You know, even the GI Bill, like, you know, I know a few guys that they got out, you know, and they went to school on the GI Bill. That's great. Like, you know, go get your degree. I don't have one. I don't have a degree.
Yeah, you and me both.
Huh?
You and me both, man.
But, you know, I know guys who are out there using their GI Bill, you know, getting that BAH money, you know, enjoying life in college, and they finished, and now, you know, they still got nothing, you know. Having that PACE plan, though, that, you know, primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency. You know, you need that
Pace,
plan.
man. Pace, bro. I can't preach pace as I can't preach it enough, man. Like, and that's one of the tools I was talking about that like military, the army sets you up with, man. Like having pace in the civilian world is golden. It's fucking money.
You know, like if you're fucking, you know, if your primary plan is like, you know what, I'm gonna get out of the army, I'm gonna go to school because I want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome, bro. Great. You know what? But if that falls through, what do you got? What do you want? Like, well, fuck it then. If I can't be a doctor, then you know I'll work at a lab. I don't know.
Yeah, be a nurse or something.
Yeah, I'll be a nurse. Like, well, fuck. If that falls through, then what? Like, oh, well, then you know, then what are you gonna do? People, that's it. People are just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah, they stop at the alternate. You know, they don't
Stop. Like, what about, you know, like a tradesman? You know.
Yeah.
We're running out of, you know, people who do the trades.
Oh
like
yeah.
Plumbers, carpenters, electricians.
And they're killing it right now, man. Like I think the economy the way it is like everybody's going to school, getting these fucking degrees, and they're coming out and realizing like, oh fuck, you know, there's one job available for this degree, and there's literally a couple thousand people trying to get it, you know.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the trade jobs and you know the labor stuff. I mean, those dudes are killing it. Like, I'm sorry, you may think that being a plumber sucks, but those dudes are pulling in six figures nowadays.
They'll never go hungry. A plumber will never go fucking hungry.
No, man. A plumber, a carpenter, a fucking electrician, like, those dudes will always be around. They'll always be eating. You know?
Yeah, man. So, you know, that's the, you know, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that when I got out. You know, I did a little bit of construction, but, you know, there's helmets to hard hats program
Yeah.
that you can do. There's so many different opportunities out there for you, but you know, and instead of taking those opportunities, I say I'll figure it out on my own.
Yeah, yeah. Like fuck, I'll just wing it. I'll wing it.
Yeah.
It's a no go, man.
And then, like I said, you know that paycheck ran out after my terminal leave was up, and then I was collecting unemployment, you know.
Yeah.
I was collecting unemployment and working cash jobs just to scrape by, you know. And you know, unfortunately, you know, like I tanked my credit score, and you know, I wasn't paying my fucking bills because I didn't have any money. You know, I lucked out because I got people to rent my house right away as soon as I moved out. You know, I think within a month, you know, I had people in my house renting it. But I didn't plan on that. You know, I didn't plan on buying the house to be a rental.
Yeah.
You know, so that's it, man. That's my advice. Like,
Have a fucking plan. And you know what I love, man, is like literally everybody I've talked to, every fucking interview I've done, their advice has always been, you know, some shape or another, you know, have a fucking plan. I love that, man.
And another thing is, you know, those guys getting out, you know, like if you have a plan and you have goals, that will provide you that purpose, direction, and motivation.
There you go. Yeah, man.
Like don't be that guy that gets out and says, fuck it, I'm just gonna, you know, grow my beard and mope around and tell everyone how.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the beard. There's nothing wrong with the beard. What do you
Right. I like beards. I obviously I can't grow one. A, I can't grow one. And B, I can't grow one for my job.
Yeah. I don't see too many cops running around with beards.
Yeah. Like, don't, you know, all I'm saying is don't be that guy, you know, who goes around, you know, saying like, well, I'm a veteran and you know, it was hard for me. And then, you know, I got PTSD and, you know, making like tons of excuses out. Like, don't make, like, there's no excuse.
Yeah. Well, if you're making excuses, you're a fucking loser, you know?
Like, you know, Like, there's endless fucking opportunities in life.
Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. Well, brother, it sucks that this is the second time trying to do this, but I love every chance I get to talk to you, man. And before we sign out, fucking, what's your Amazon fucking handle, bro?
Oh, it's LUCCI and the letter V.
Okay, so Lucci V.
Yeah.
Lucci V. All right, hey.
Not to be confused with Gary.
Yeah,
Gary.
yeah. Shit, I wish I could be Gary V. Holy fuck. But
No, not to be confused with that. It's my daughter brought me sausage.
I like it.
But that's what my Amazon business is named after. It's named after my daughter.
I like it, man. So if you guys are on Amazon, check out David Pickard's storefront, LUCCIV. All right, hit it up. I know you were moving duct tape a little bit ago, so fucking duct tape. Hey man, everybody needs fucking duct tape. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But thank you again, brother. I appreciate it, and I'll be watching you with bated breath. Keeping an eye on your successes. Everybody else, like, comment, subscribe, share, comment. Please fucking comment. If you got any questions for my man Pickard here about law enforcement, about entrepreneurship, anything like that, fucking leave them in the comments. And we're gonna do a follow up, maybe a year from now to see where he's at. But if you leave the comments, questions and shit, I'll make sure that Pickard reads them and he fucking gets back to you. Aside from that, I love y'all. I hate y'all. I hope you enjoyed this, and shit will buff out. I promise. Shit will fucking buff out. But thanks again, bud.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Peace.
Take it easy.
You too.
Hey, thank you guys for watching this episode of Carry On. Hope you got some value out of it. If you did, drop in the comments, man. Let me know what you think. All right. If you got questions, throw it down in there. Let me know if you like this. All right. Tell me what you like. Okay. Over here on the left, give me a little box to part 1 of the Pickard interview. Over here on the right is the entire Carry On playlist. So all the interviews. All right. And up here on the top left, subscribe button. Make sure you hit that shit and you hit the notification bell. So every time I upload something new, you can be the first to know. Other than that, hit me in the comments, man. Let me know what's up. Have a good night.